I'd be more comfortable if I knew everything. Maybe someday we'll all know everything with some AI implant in our head or something. But I'm searching. People that think they know everything know less and less every year. People that think they don't know everything know more and more every year. So on all levels, I like about myself that I always think I should know more, could know more.
My favorite show ever was the BBC Office.
What a nice icebreaker, David.
Thank you, BJ. Just so the audience understands, what we're dealing with. Most people know you just as Ryan.
They go BJ Novak.
What do they say? They go BJ.
BJ Novak, I loved you as Ryan.
What does BJ stand for?
Quality.
Yeah, of course it does. That's really good. That actually took me a minute.
Yeah, my name is Benjamin Joseph Manley Novak.
What is the meal that changed your life?
When I moved to Los Angeles, I was kind of lonely, and I had this great job writing for a Bob Saget sitcom that was a great break. And other than that, though, I moved from Boston. It was a very lonely sort of existence to navigate LA. And I got Los Angeles Magazine and the LA Times. I did everything and guidebooks, and I explored. Now I love Los Angeles, but I really made an effort to explore Los Angeles.
And you wanted to be an Angelino, you didn't just want to be in movies and television. You actually loved.
I really did.
Los
I was
Angeles
really
culture.
drawn to it. I rode away to the California Tourist Board when I was a kid to ask for brochures about California. I just read them every night. I just couldn't believe such a beautiful, mythical, even the name California, the name Los Angeles. I just thought these were just beautiful, exotic, because I come from a place where it's Andover, North Andover, Marblehead. They,
what is that? Where is that?
Just Massachusetts names. They didn't have this Spanish, ethereal, lilt
an accent.
to them.
There's an accent.
I just thought California and these pictures of Big Sur, and I don't know, it just was so mythical to me, California.
Yeah,
it's Schwarzenegger wanted to come there, from Austria. So when I moved there, I really wanted to know this exotic place where I knew no one and nothing. And I got at the LA Times. I was a really good student of my new city. And in Los Angeles Magazine, there was a restaurant called Guelaguetza. Do you know that restaurant? It was a Oaxacan restaurant. It still exists. A Oaxacan restaurant in Koreatown.
Okay.
And I thought, where am I?
And where were you living?
First of all, there's a Koreatown. Second of all, where is Oaxaca? And the cuisine they were describing was really interesting. And so I went there with my roommate, and we got banana leaf wrapped chicken mole enchiladas. I had never conceived of such a thing. And the flavor and the colors and the local sort of Oaxacan expat community had a newspaper there, and they were selling pan dulces, and it opened my eyes to what this city was about, and the fact that you could explore a city through its neighborhood restaurants.
Yeah.
And that set off a whole, then I got Jonathan Gold's book, and it set off a whole exploration. And some of the real home-like environments I feel in Los Angeles is getting to know Jazz, the proprietor of Gelada,
Of course.
and Gannett of Meals by Gannett in Little Ethiopia. And these were sort of in my mind, parental figures a little bit, that I knew these proprietors of these amazing restaurants of types of food I'd never had, Southern Thai and Ethiopian. So that was really the beginning of a whole side of my life, I guess.
So that kind of opened your eyes, and you had never had a lot of these foods before when you grew up.
Yeah, I hadn't even heard of them.
What kind of food did you eat in Massachusetts? Or
so there
let's
were
go
two,
to earliest food memory, and then you kind of take me through the whole.
So there were two
Sure.
restaurants in Newton, Massachusetts, as far as I knew. As far as I knew, there were two restaurants in the whole world. There was the Italian restaurant, Abruzzi, and there was the Chinese restaurant, Beijing Palace. It did not occur to me that there was any other type of food, and I didn't need more food. This was where if my family went out to dinner, it was one of those two restaurants. They were both amazing. And then the third one was the Ground Round, which is a Massachusetts first chain, where they had popcorn machines. And it's the first time I saw Super Mario Brothers in an arcade.
Oh, wow.
They had a player piano that played on its own. It was the most fun place I've ever been still.
Huh.
And they just revived it somewhere in Massachusetts.
That's
that set
your
off my
Casa
love.
Bonita. That's your Casa Bonita.
Yes, but it was a chain. So that also set off my love for chain restaurants.
Oh, there we go.
But my first food memories were yeah, those the Italian and Chinese, and then what blew my mind was this window into like the rest of America, and it was a singles bar at night, which I didn't know at the time, but it was like you could sense there was this bar area where like grown-ups went. What are they doing over there? Why are they sitting there? Why don't they get a table with popcorn? Because they're after something else I found out
Yeah,
later.
that's
Yeah.
it was the old school. It was analog Tinder.
Totally. And it was like dark and cool, air conditioned and, salty foods, hamburgers, pizza, fries. It was heaven there, heaven. And those video games and pinball machines. And there were multiple ones. You could discover the same exact one in another place. And that was a real revelation to me.
Okay, so what are you feeling? You get to the chain restaurant, and then what is the restaurant called again?
The ground round.
And that was a chain of
Yeah.
restaurants.
Yeah.
You get to Ground Round, which is
Yeah.
a chain restaurant. Were you aware that there were multiple locations?
No, and then I saw a second one. I was like, "What is going on?" Like,
How far
there was
away
a
was the second
replica.
one?
I don't know. It was in like Framingham or something.
In Framingham.
Yeah, I don't know exactly, but we were just driving somewhere else on Route 9, and like there was the ground round again, but it's a different place. That
Huh.
was very exciting. I mean, I knew that like McDonald's had multiple locations,
Right.
but the fact that like a restaurant would
Right.
was exciting. And you could even before I knew there were other locations, there was something different about this chain restaurant. It was more populist, fun, like the menus were laminated and
Mm,
it just had this like all American commercial shine to it that kids really find appealing.
yeah. And so you go in there, you know exactly like what would you order? Like what did you order on the menu? What was your
I
what
actually
what was your
ordered,
routine
I
there?
remember it as being a burger place, but in fact, what I ordered was fusilli pasta because I was a kid. So,
How old are we talking about here?
oh, like, 7 to 12.
You felt safe there.
I felt happy and I felt connected to this wider world because
And
I felt very sheltered in the
yeah,
in the suburb that I was very lucky to have grown up in. But at the time, I like it was so boring. Like anyone who's grown up in a
yeah.
suburb knows, like
Like Slough.
like you're like nothing goes on in here. Well, it was way more nice than Slough. I know you're a British office guy. It was
Good
it,
catch.
yeah, it was like an upscale Scranton, I would say, for the viewers at home. But to be part of like the wider world, like there was an IHOP on the highway on Sturrow Drive. And when I got to high school, like if you were in a high school play, the cast party, like you could go out and get onion rings and a chocolate chip pancake order at like 11 p.m. It was
Wow.
incredible. And that also laminated menu,
Yeah.
like there's more than one of them. And they're just like, they're happy. They're focus group tested. They're wild, like they want to please you, as opposed to a more local restaurant that's more like someone else's house where we go for dinner. The
Yeah.
chain restaurants were like, it was like watching Nickelodeon or
Yeah,
something,
yeah, yeah. No, that's
and
right.
I
Yeah.
fell in love,
That's amazing. And so then later on you're in Los Angeles.
Mhm.
You started as kind of a writer, then you found yourself as an actor in The Office, which happened kind of like what happened there? How did you get
Um,
how was
well,
Ryan
I
born?
was I was hired for both at the same time. I was doing stand up, and I was spotted doing stand up by Greg Daniels, who created the American Office, and he had this idea of writer performers and made me one, and then eventually made Mindy Kaling and Paul Lieberstein writer performers as well.
Mhm.
And that was, yeah, I learned so much. It was an incredible run, and I think it was an incredible way to learn by doing both. I think you learn more about each by knowing as an actor what you're serving of the writers and vice versa, what the actors go through when you just toss off a line in their direction. They need to make it real. They're the last line of defense. So I think doing each really gives you respect for what you need to do to make the other do their job well.
Absolutely. Do you remember what your stand-up was when Greg like, what were you talking about? What kind of caught his attention,
It
you think?
was one-liners usually, and it was he told me after it was the pauses between the one-liners that he liked. He said, "I think it seemed like you thought you were better than people when you paused in between jokes, and I like the idea of a temp who thinks he's a little better than everyone."
Mm.
So I
Right,
said,
because you're
"Great."
pausing, you're giving the audience time to catch up.
I was just trying to think of what my next joke was, but I think the confident standing there between them read to him as arrogance,
Yeah.
which was good for Ryan.
Were you doing stand-up? What kind of
Yeah,
performing
yeah.
were you doing as a kid? Like,
Oh,
were
as a
you always kind of
kid?
in were you in plays or magician? Like, Nathan Fielder did a lot was shows clips of himself doing magic on the show.
I would have loved to have done magic. I didn't have the patience to learn the tricks.
When did you think you wanted to be like a performer?
I liked acting a lot in high school, and then I think watching people like Letterman and Conan, I thought more, or Jon Stewart, I thought more I could do something like that because I really liked being funny in a, you know, embodying it with timing and stuff like that. But I didn't
Right.
think of myself as so much as an actor. But I didn't think of myself as just a writer because part of the fun and the spirit of comedy is like how you deliver it. You know,
Yeah.
making someone laugh in private is largely your timing, your quickness, and I like doing that.
Yeah. And I think that that is one of your talents is to be able, like you never have to be like the clown making a joke. Like I feel like your acting style and comedy style is one of like deadpan conviction. Like you
Yes,
really,
I've learned that about myself, yeah.
yeah. What about yourself? Like what have you learned about yourself?
What I've learned about myself through, I guess, through my performing career is, there are people who say some variation of the audience tells you who you are. And I think, yeah, I think deadpan and certain things work better for me. One director described me as a temperature shift when you put me in
Hmm.
a project, and he put me in a scene right in the middle where it needed a temperature shift. So I think that obviously because I'm so cool.
They
Um
also in the casino they call that the cooler,
yeah.
and they bring him to the table
Yeah.
when they need
When the
someone
movie
when
gets
they need
too
to.
good, when the movie
You,
gets too good,
they,
they bring me in to cool it off just so the audience doesn't get intimidated.
yeah.
So, but
So
you learn who you are and what you could do well, and then you hopefully try to bring something to that. But when people say, so and so is the same in every movie, I mean, people say it about, short of Daniel Day-Lewis, they say that about every great actor. It's not true. They're doing very different things in every movie, but they are generally bringing the instrument that they have is who they are, their timing, their personality, their look, their vibe. And
mhm,
so I think every actor generally needs to find a way to use how other people see them, use what is powerful about them in the service of a character.
mm,
Don't you think?
yeah. And I think so your persona that kind of what are the pieces that translate? There is the long pauses because you do think you're better than people.
No.
Your characters do.
He
You can look,
Yeah,
you can be real with me. You
you
are
can
a
be
little
real.
better than
I
average
am
people.
better, right?
You are better.
Um,
You are
I
better. I
think
mean,
my characters in general. I mean, I haven't played that many characters to be honest. I played Ryan for a very long time, and I was in Smurfs too.
and also you're in
Devil Wears Prada too. Yes.
no, I was gonna
Oh,
say Vengeance.
yeah. No, I've done some things, but it's not like I have the kind of career where I should be.
But since you brought it
I
up,
should be on Inside the Actor Studio talking about my theories of acting.
well, why were you cast in Devil Wears Prada? Let's talk about it. Talk about the casting process. What kind of character are you playing in that? Give me something.
The Devil
So
Wears Prada 2 is an exploration of how Meryl Streep's character, Miranda Priestley, and Anne Hathaway's character, Andy, reunite in an unexpected way, get on all sorts of adventures, both business and personal, learn a lot from each other.
how are fans gonna react to that?
I think, I think it's gonna be a big deal.
Oh yeah, I want to talk about your book. So the book with no pictures. What inspired that? So you don't have kids. Did you write it for somebody in particular? Or like
Yeah, I
what's the
wrote it
deal?
for my friend Chess Stetson's 2-year-old son, Bruce Stetson,
Mm.
who was a little too young for it and enjoyed it, but then said, "Now let's read a book with pictures." But I knew I was onto something. I wrote it for him, but with an eye towards if this works, who knows where it could lead.
It is absolutely incredible. It's like the best kids book ever. I took this book to my when he was 4 or he was 5 at the time. I read it to his class as his class thing. Like you for the kid's birthday, you go to the class, you read a book that he chooses.
Yeah,
So I chose the book with no pictures,
great.
and I fucking crushed. Like it was probably like the funniest I've ever felt, like the best that I've ever felt.
That's awesome. I really
Um,
did write it as like a script,
and I just like
you
went
know?
for it. Yeah, like
Mhm.
you go for it, and it really takes. What's amazing is it makes the grown up.
Yeah,
It
funny.
disarms them for the kid, and so it
Yeah,
makes the grown up able to feel silly,
yeah,
and it makes the kid able to just be like, yeah, you have to read it. You know, you have to continue reading it. And the book essentially is it's all text and it like the rules are the grown up has to do it. And then there's different fonts and feelings and stuff. Have you ever read it like you would read it to groups of kids when it came out?
Yeah, well, I would test
Is there
it.
any video of it of
Yeah,
you doing
yeah.
it?
When I would test the book, I would not only read it to kids, but I would bring it to families' houses if I knew the parents, and I would ask the parent to read it in front of me so I could see, is it clear
Oh.
the way? And you know what a really big part of it was is even the placement of the page turns.
Right.
It needs to be on where a comic pause would naturally be. So the parent doesn't have to think. They just naturally, if a word is really big and bulbous, of course, they're going to naturally say it in a bigger, sillier way, but they don't have to think about how to be funny.
Oh my god.
It should just kind of be intuitive reading the book. So I did a lot of testing that way.
That's amazing. And also, we were talking about how Greg Daniels noticed the pauses
Yeah,
and the time
pauses
and the
pauses
timing.
matter a lot.
So the timing is built in. You're
And
helping the parent be funny, get out of their comfort zone, and connect
yeah.
with their kid.
And it's it's amazing how much the rules of comedy are primal because you see it in children. The laugh is almost always on the reaction, the half second later reaction, the exact same timing that it would be for an adult. When like Jim looks to camera, that's exactly what works on a kid. You read a funny word and you react to it, and the laugh is on the reaction.
Yeah, because they love to see their grown up be flustered.
Or yes, or it's just the way that humans are wired for comedy.
Why is that? Anthropologically, like what
I'm
is
not
it?
a scientist.
No,
I'm just
a little bit.
We're all
Look, you're not a
scientists.
scientist, but
My
you
superpower
look.
is
Come
being
on, man.
myself.
You're a very smart person. When was a moment that you were like, "Oh wow, I can make people laugh"? Like, is there a moment?
I would make my cousins laugh a lot, I think. But we're all funny as kids. I heard Jerry
Mm,
Seinfeld and others say this. Like kids are funny, and
yeah.
then you just keep being funny or stop being funny. So I was funny, but so were my cousins and everything. But I really loved making people laugh. I just didn't think it was anything cool. I thought it was like loving any activity. And it was when I got older and saw people thriving, like writing The Simpsons or something, I would think, wait, that's a job and
Oh.
that's a cool job. And people said that I was funny. Maybe that could actually be like a cool thing to do, not just like, yeah, great, like a hobby.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Is comedy for you? Was it ever like a survival tool? Just and then when I talk about survival, I mean,
No.
like
Yeah, yeah.
surviving in a social in school, which is hard for
No, like I
everybody.
just saw Jeff Ross's one man show on Broadway, which is great. And he talks about that a lot. I mean, I think he was um bullied or teased and stuff, and comedy was a real weapon for him. I think that's very common. But for me, I was just sort of a pretty average kid who liked being funny. I don't remember it as like armor or anything.
Well, you just said that you felt average.
I suppose, yeah, I didn't feel much anxiety about being average though. I wasn't like, I'll show them I'm not average. I was just like, sweet. I'm glad I'm not like picked on. Average is great. I can just, I'm safe here. But the comedy, yeah, sure. I guess it was a bit, way to be special. If people would laugh at what you did, everyone wants to be special too.
And you lived in this little town, and like, did you worry that like you would be forgotten or that you would miss out on the world and not be special? Did you feel not special?
No, I never worried about that.
Sure. What about your parents? Were your parents? What did they do?
My father is a ghostwriter.
Oh wow, a ghostwriter. Just for the fans, like, what does that mean exactly?
Oh, a ghostwriter is when sort of a celebrity or a politician or someone writes one of those big best-selling memoirs. Generally, someone else, the ghostwriter, and his name is credited on the cover and stuff, uh, shapes it. They interview the person, they kind of write in that person's voice,
Mm,
they decide how to open the book. In some cases, they really write the whole thing based on the interviews, and others, they just kind of edit what the person wants. So he would kind of be the writer responsible for getting Lee Iacocca was a big one, like a business leader or something, their book
so that's that.
on the page.
And then so
And
you
he
have
worked in the third floor of our house, in Newton, Massachusetts. So it was very cool that he had this work as an author in this, suburban
right.
home. It was a very glamorous and cool thing for me to see him be a writer. But he also just treated it like a very, he could have been an insurance agent in terms of like, he didn't like talk, he wasn't flashy about it,
Huh.
but I knew it was pretty cool and people thought it was pretty cool. I did.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like a special kind of job and being connected to, so did any of these, he would go visit the people or did
Hmm.
anybody come over?
Generally he would go.
He would go.
Yeah.
And Lee Iacocca, the creator of the Ford Mustang and one of the probably the greatest car salesmen in history, also responsible for the minivan.
Yeah. It's funny to say this now because I think
And it's in the
to,
book.
yeah, to this generation to be like, that guy got his own book, but that was a huge book in the 80s, huge book.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, his legacy is still being felt because he was all about making a thing that people wanted accessible. That like he made
Yeah.
the Ferrari
Yeah.
Mustang was like a Ferrari that you could afford.
Yeah. Yeah.
It looked like a Ferrari.
I had a Mustang once. I like a Mustang.
What is your Mustang story?
I'll tell you my Mustang story. It's no one likes it but me. Um, when I moved to Los Angeles, my roommate, Steve Jepson Gomez, he grew up in West Covina, and his younger brother picked us up from the airport in a red Mustang that stalled out on the 10
Was
on
it
the
like an
freeway.
old Mustang?
Yeah, because it stalled. It like stopped in the middle of the 10 freeway
Oh
about
my
3
God.
or 4 times, taking us from the airport. And he didn't care.
You're just at a stop in the middle of
Yeah. And then he just cranked it
and
up
this is a
again.
very intense freeway
Yeah.
driven on
And it's like mythical
driven on by
because
some of the craziest people in the world.
yeah, and I knew this from like rap videos, like those thin palm trees uplining it, and they were playing, California Love, as I remember it.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it was so exciting. And
Yeah.
even though we kept stalling out, they just felt immortal. They were just like California kids. And the wind in our face, and like just feeling immortal in this like broken down Mustang, it was this high that I was never able to replicate with my Honda Accord, my very practical car that I got on a 3-year lease when I started at Raising Dad, my first job. So I always wanted a convertible. When I got more money, I would like test drive the convertibles, but all like the fancy convertibles had these big windshields that it was basically like just like driving with a sunroof.
Sure.
I was like, I want the wind in my face. I want like an American. So I'm like, I'm going to get a Mustang like I had. And people were like, oh, cool, vintage Mustang. And I was like, no, because I didn't want to deal with it stalling out and stuff like that. I wanted like a brand new, don't have to worry about it Mustang. So people were like, you sure about this? So I was like, yeah, yeah. So I got this like bright blue, like brand new 2008 or whatever Mustang that looks like the kind of rental car a tourist gets
Oh
at
my
the
God,
airport.
powder blue. I know exactly.
No, it
the
wasn't powder
car.
blue. It was like navy blue. That was like my present to myself. Like I finally made it. I got this convertible, but I was already like recognizable from the office. So I would
yeah.
like drive down Sunset in this car and people would be like, hey, Ryan. And I'd be like, hey, it was like the privacy was weird. And then my friends, if they saw me in it, they'd be like, what happened to your car? Because it looks like the kind of loaner you get. It's not a cool car.
Your car's in the shop, so you went to the
Yeah.
Hertz, and this is
It
your
was
car
like, hey, I'll do a
allowance.
convertible for the weekend, but it wasn't the kind of car that a successful person with taste would choose. But I wanted it for that feeling. And like all my friends made fun of it and finally just sold it and sold it at a great price. So
You were getting attacked on both ends here. Not attacked, but like your friends thought it was lame.
everyone thought it was lame.
But what about the guys on the TMZ bus?
I probably made their day.
They probably made their day.
Yeah.
See, like, oh, this is Hollywood.
Yeah. And he drives a car just the same
Did you
car
wear
we
like
have.
like aviator sunglasses?
No, because I didn't even think of the fact that people would see me. So I wasn't like planning fits.
Did that feel good? Do you
No.
like being recognized?
No.
At what point? What was the first? Do you remember the first time you were ever recognized?
Yeah, I do.
What was that?
It was for Punked, and I had banked a lot of episodes of Punked, and I was like, I'm going to be famous, but nobody knows because you couldn't tell anybody. And then it aired. I watched it at the Standard Hotel in Hollywood with my girlfriend at the time. And when I left, I walked down Sunset to get to my car. And I've been thinking of this is the date that I'm going to be famous. And I walked and like nothing changed. And in retrospect, like the whole world hadn't just watched that episode. In fact, they were in their cars if they're on the street now. So, but in my mind, I was like, oh, I'm not famous. I'm not going to be famous because I'd waited until this night in just my 23-year-old brain, And And then rationally I knew, but then a couple weeks went by and like nothing happened either. And I was like, oh, I guess you don't get famous from like one show on MTV. I wanted to be famous. I was young, And then I was opening for Nick Swartzen at the Denver Comedy Works in Denver. And before the show, I went for stand up. Before the show, I went with my set list in this to sit in the Starbucks and just like work on my set list for the night. And a guy walked by the window and just stared at me and then kept walking. He like stopped when he saw me through the window. And then the next person. And then the next, and it has never stopped since. But that had never happened to me before, that someone like a stranger did a double take and walked away. And I thought it was a fluke at first, but like that was just the day. That day, in Denver, it just sunk in.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Um,
I loved it
did they
then.
come inside?
No.
So you just felt it was like, wait, today now something you've hit the saturation
Well,
point.
I'm used to sitting in a window and looking at the world, but it
Now the
hadn't
world is
occurred to
now the
me.
world is looking
Yeah, it
back at
hadn't
you.
occurred to me that the world would look back at me. And I don't know. I thought fame was like a golden. I like it. I like that it is a validation that what you do is reaching people if that's what you try to do. But I hadn't really thought it through. I just wanted it all because I was, a young, ambitious kid,
Yeah. What is the mountain for you? Do you feel like you are successful what are your goals? Like, what do you want out of life?
Good meal, friendship.
Thank you, Hal.
Yeah.
How do you reach the level of have you reached the level of your own taste in your work?
Oh, yeah. The book No Pictures, I felt I reached the level of my own taste, but it was like that's such a concentrated. And there are moments in the office where, I was only a part of something, but like we did it,
Mhm.
and I was integrated with that. There are some things I'm like, that is my sense of humor and my taste, but it mostly you're experimenting, reaching, or only in retrospect do you realize that was in retrospect it's all you know. But as I do something, I always think, what more could this be?
Was there a moment when, like, didn't like watching yourself or didn't like your own work?
Oh yeah, I never.
How have you come over
I
to
won't
that?
watch this.
Of course not. How do you have the courage to write, direct, and star in something? Like, how do you do that and feel like, okay, did you watch that? Obviously you have to watch it because you're directing it. We had a guest who said he's never watched anything he's ever been in.
Yeah, no. Sometimes I have to watch the footage if I'm in it. Yeah.
Do you
Um,
watch all the episodes of The Office that you've been
no,
in?
I never watch them. I played Office trivia with someone the other day. I lost by so much because I was just there when we came up with it the first time. We shot many different versions. I didn't always watch the final edits if it wasn't my episode. So like, I don't know. I know 5 versions of where Toby went to high school. I don't remember which one. So, but I envy people that can watch their own thing and enjoy it, because you should be able to do that, I think.
What is the essence of Ryan? There's sort of like he's like a niche character that really that people just like love.
Or hate. But he definitely has a journey. He goes through lots. He's nice
And
in
then
season 1.
yeah,
He is a little standoffish in season 2 and 3, but still kind of nice. He's really a raging asshole in season 4, 5. Then he is a kind of a hilariously pathetic figure in season 6, 7, 8. So I think, he like all of us, he contains
he
multitudes.
probably changes more than any other character on the show.
I think that might be true.
He was nice in season 1. What happened?
Um, well, he was, I mean, he was as nice as I can play a guy. I don't know if he's nice in the grand scheme of things, but he was sort of a fresh-faced temp. It was his first day, was the pilot, and he was an ambitious, sort of eager guy who didn't realize what a sort of bleak dead end office he was walking into. And then, like a lot of people in their early 20s, I think kind of um, lost his way as he tried to find himself.
So you have like a special power to be like kind of like your deadpan people. You say that you have trouble playing a nice character. You're known for kind of playing a something.
I tend to be brought in as the bad guy, or I would say sort of um, the new type of bad guy, which is a little corporate, bright idea, that kind of villain.
Kind of what is like the bad guy today that you're kind of like going for? And I
A
know
friend of mine, David Taylor, the comedian, said I played sort of a somewhat charming Latin professor on Mindy's show, The Mindy Project. He said, I watched you in that. Anyone could have done that. That's not, he said, Max Greenfield could have done that way better. It's like, okay. He's like, you should be playing Max, take the compliment. I think he meant that like Max is very good, not even Max Greenfield.
yeah, it's like
And as he
or
said
that's
that, I was like,
yeah, like a
I was like,
nuanced role
I
is
was like,
not
that
for
is a
is
good
not
Max
for him.
Greenfield role. I agree. But the point is, he said, you're wasting your talent. You need to be playing bad guys and bureaucrats. And I think that he meant that's sort of one and the same in today's world. I was
Um,
on the show Punked, was my first acting job.
oh yeah, let's tell me about
And
that.
when a friend heard that, or a friend of a friend heard that, he told my friend, oh, that's perfect. If I saw BJ coming, I'd think, oh no, I'm in trouble. So like that kind of bad guy.
Yeah.
Not like guns blazing bad guy.
What was the best punking that you ever did or participated in?
Teaching Hillary Duff to drive was probably my most sort of high watermark of the punk season, but we did a lot of fun things. I remember Maya was a very exciting one. Usher was an exciting one. Some of them didn't sign off, like Fieldy from Korn. We did a very daring post 9/11 fake anthrax scare.
Oh, because you can't
that
have them sign the release form.
they have to sign.
They have to sign off on the
Yeah.
thing. And do they watch the edit? Or
No, they
just
know
like
right away
they
whether
know what
this
happens.
is
They want to know how crazy they were.
Yeah.
Are there moments where you just feel like, oh God, this is wrong, what we're doing?
I am missing that gene. My mom hated that show because it was my big break. I was like, I'm on MTV, you got to watch. And it was really hard for her to watch. She cannot stand the pranks. I think like a prank is the highest calling. It's comedy, So we should all be.
I
That's
think
my
it's
trolley problem is like, what would you inflict on someone for the greater laughter of the world? I have trouble reminding myself that's not right. That if it's for comedy, I don't
right.
have that problem with other selfish acts, but if something will be funny, it is hard for me to see the cost clearly because that is such a higher calling for me.
And that's your love language is to
Yeah,
make
I will
people
say
laugh.
if something makes you feel uncomfortable, it damages the comedy.
Right, then it's not funny anymore.
Yeah, so I'm kind of safe with that.
Has that happened on the show where it's like, oh, this is out of control and you had to stop the prank?
I would say that the Office episode Scott's Tots is on the wrong side of this line for a lot of people.
Let's do this because when we do the chain pitch, why don't you, do you want to just tell me the story of Chain in the way that you do it?
Sure. I mean, I grew up loving the Ground Round and IHOP and Dunkin' Donuts and Chili's. And to me, those were the shiniest portals of an idealized, happy, free America. That was like my Mustang, that was like, to me, that was the road to being an American and having fun. And
yeah, and you're getting
and
the
all of
waitresses
that
are
stuff.
smiling and everything is happy inside.
Yeah,
the
and
chain
I think in
restaurant.
that time, especially like 90s chain restaurants were a real high watermark of happy, all-American consumer positive vibes.
Yeah, and also we're watching broadcast TV and you see the commercials for it and the feeling.
And like the commercials are on during like Seinfeld and like good shows, The Simpsons. Like these were popular network shows that were brilliant and funny, and it was a great time, the 90s. It really was. And the food at these chain restaurants was fucking fun. And it was like, again, laminated menus, all the greatest hits, add-ons and sides, and it was delicious, and you could get it anywhere, and it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved that stuff. And when I moved to Los Angeles and I started experimenting with, what's the local cuisine, what are the spots, Meals by Gannett and Guelaguetza and Jitlada and all places like that, I loved it. But then a Chili's opened in Westwood, and the people I knew were more excited for that than any restaurant opening that you like read about or something. And so was I. And I thought, I wish there were a way that you could do these interesting new restaurants in the middle of Hollywood that everyone's talking about, but it was kind of more like a chain restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, if you
the chain restaurant because of the feeling that
literally
you
the style,
and other people
the style,
feel, the style,
the feeling, absolutely. That kind of, You feel so safe in a chain
Mm,
restaurant.
mhm.
There's just something about the booths, the flair, the menus, the nachos at the table, the type of food, everything about it is just so comforting and fun and shiny and tasty. And again, it was the commercials were part of it, but all of that, like I don't know anyone who I think wouldn't secretly be happier at an incredible version of Chili's or Outback than they would at, you know, your typical chef's table restaurant.
Well, let's talk about Chain Fest. What is Chain? People look it up. They can't order it online. They can't go to it. It's like this exclusive, elusive, ethereal thing that kind of pops up and goes away. Explain it to the people.
Chain is a pop-up experience in Los Angeles, although expanding to other places where incredible chefs partner usually with a chain with permission and sort of access to their kitchens, et cetera. But, really in homage to the
Yes.
chains that we
A
love,
celebration.
they do these unique special edition, incredibly limited, you know, versions of chain food. And it's a really, really fun thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that has some great people working on it. And the more we expand it, I think the more fun it gets.
Where can one find a ticket, a golden ticket to a chain
The
event?
best thing to do is go to the chain Instagram and there's a phone number there. And if you text that number, you get on the text list. And every time we have a drop, you'll get a chance to sign up.
And what are some of like the most notable chain collabs that you're the most proud of?
We did one with Taco Bell that we called the Crunchwrap Perfecto. And it was like a Crunchwrap Supreme, but with Wagyu beef and all these incredible elite ingredients and some of their spices and some spices we sourced. And they were like made in small batches. And we had this sauce that we concocted for it. That was a really special one. And the head chef of Taco Bell came and gave his approval. And I just remember that being like a great night.
I love that. I also saw a Benny Blanco at a Tabasco or
Yeah.
Tabasco.
Yeah, we did
Tabasco omakase.
yeah, we did Tabasco omakase,
Speaking of omakase.
which was all of these foods served like a fancy dinner, but all of them were built around Tabasco sauce, which has a lot of fans. And I
How
think
ma-
Benny chugged a bottle there. Yeah.
how many she chugged the bottle of Tabasco?
I believe I heard that, yeah. He's a wild man.
That is crazy.
Rock stars.
How many courses of Tabasco fueled food is like safe to eat, do you think? Like
I mean, I didn't hear of any fatalities. However many courses we served was probably the limit.
was there ever
Safe limit.
there was a collab with Pepto-Bismol at the Chain Fest, which I thought was one of the
Pepto-Bismol.
funniest product tie-ins
They
I've ever
were a
seen.
sponsor of one of the chain fests. Yeah.
How did the chains themselves react to seeing a big Pepto booth?
Uh,
Were they cool with it?
they didn't complain to me. So I think it's fun. I think it was fun and funny.
Chain Fest brought normal people, normal, everyday Los Angeles citizens who just love to eat with like major celebrities, and we're all kind of eating the same thing. Can you kind of like paint the picture of Chain Fest for me?
Well, I think you painted it well. Like it's in Los Angeles and we wanted it to be like a fun, flashy event, but instead of being built around some movie premiere or some elite thing, it's built around chain food. It's built around what we all grew up loving and, having accessibility towards. So, a ticket would get you a passport where you could go to every single booth and get some limited edition collab with like, Jack in the Box had these incredible tacos and Red Robin did something and Dunkin' did something and Pepsi made a sauce. Like it was just really cool to have that sort of LA Hollywood event, but around celebrating something that we all have a connection to. It was really fun.
And everybody has a chain story. They have their favorite chain. Um, you've worked with like a lot of the big ones. I imagine that you get a lot of suggestions for chains that they want you to collaborate with.
Oh yeah. I mean, from the chains themselves, but
Or
even
the
more.
chains are coming to you. They want to be in on the action.
The chains do come to us, but I think even more fun is that when I tell people what I'm working on, short of like, I mean, I don't even know, any movie or TV show I mention does not get as much excitement as when I explain what chain is. And everyone's like, oh, oh, you have to do the breadsticks from here. You have to do this. And what about this? And have you ever done that? Like the way people light up about chain food, it outpaces basically anything that I've worked on.
It's an amazing thing.
Yeah.
The Friendlies Fribble at my camp in my
We
summer
did
camp
a
in
Friendlies
Massachusetts.
collab. Yeah.
The Friendlies Fribble was like that was currency at Camp Mackinac. That the cat, if you won the game, you would go get Fribbles, and the
Okay.
Fribbles were the best thing.
Yeah.
It is magical. Are you gonna do like you're only doing chains, or you're gonna do other restaurants too?
No, I think that this is a very fun project, and I'm really happy that it's successful and popular. But it's not my main ambition to keep it expanding it to more and more food. I'm very happy with chain being a lot of fun, and we'll see where it goes. But
Yeah.
I'm not here um to take over Burger King or something.
Are you gonna have a celebrity nemesis like Hugh Jack? Like,
That's a great idea.
like create like a fake feud with another liquor owning person.
Yeah, I think The Rock would be a good
That
nemesis.
would be great.
Yeah, yeah. He has a tequila.
Okay. What's your favorite food?
My favorite food. It's interesting. I think because we all have these associations. Like I would say sushi is my favorite food, but if it were like my last meal on death row, would I have like salmon sashimi? I don't think so. So I don't know. My favorite food. I think my favorite food. It's not a meal, but homemade Chex Mix is my favorite food. If there was like a Chex Mix diet, that I would be fine. My other favorite food, bread. I could live on bread alone.
Okay, so tell me about your sushi story. You, I have an origin story about sushi at Nozawa also,
Okay.
where we were not admitted Max Winkler and I were not allowed into the restaurant, even though it was still technically open,
Do you
because he was
know
yeah,
what you did?
he was smoking a cigarette and he just didn't want to continue that night. I
Okay.
don't think. What is your so Nozawa is famous for what? Like,
Is he
give us
still
context.
is he still around though?
Nozawa is alive. First
Yeah,
of all,
he's alive,
he's
and his
alive.
son founded Sugarfish.
Correct. So Nozawa's legacy, his style of sushi, which is the kind of the sweet rice,
Yeah.
and a very kind of loosely packed, sweet, delicious rice, making the rice just super tasty.
Yeah.
And only nigiri sushi and cut rolls, simple cut rolls. And so that style continues in Sugarfish, which is a chain.
It is a chain. I remember Nozawa loomed very large when I moved to Los Angeles. That was the pinnacle, even more than Matsuhisa. That was the pinnacle
Yeah.
that you hear about. I remember hearing that Jason Biggs ate there for lunch every single day, which I took as a sign like, wow, to be that rich.
Yeah.
That was quite a legend.
It's kind of the spot for Hollywood. People in the studios would go there. It's like a power lunch.
But it's hard to get in,
spot.
and in general, sushi at Nozawa was like very, very by Nozawa's rules, right? And you did not ask questions or talk back, and you'd hear stories about people being thrown out. I don't remember who those were, but there were stories.
So I'll say a couple that I remember and a couple that I've seen.
Yeah.
He didn't let me. Max Winkler and I, Max Winkler, friend of the pod, we were not allowed. I had done some editing for him. He was going to buy me a sushi. This is in film school, and he wouldn't let us in. We came back again, and I was like, "This is astonishingly expensive." And I'm a New York kid. We
Yeah.
didn't really have like omakases like
Yeah.
that. The omakase where it's like, trust me. But it was so good that directly led to me seeking out Jiro to go to like the most stubborn, most intense sushi chef in the world. Nozawa was known for me. I know that he kicked out Charlize Theron. He kicked out Charlize. He kicked out, I think usually it's because they ask for a California roll or they demand it or they
Okay.
ask for a modification.
But that's amazing that he doesn't simply say no. He's like,
No,
you're
I
out of
think
here.
it's if you persist. But there was a the ones that I saw, which I think is funnier. There was so two people at sushi bar. They knew the people at the table. It's like a big table of Philippine, maybe 6 people, and they're like, "Hey, what's up?" And I saw him as I was at the sushi bar. He was kind of like what he does. He kind of like looks up like under his brow, kind of. It's that stern look, and they switched seats. One of the people at the sushi bar switched seats with a person at the table. He looked up and saw there was a different person. He says, "What happened? Who are you? Where is your what happened?" And it's like, "Oh, I'm just switching seats." And he's like, "No, like there's no switching seats. You can't change it.
Oh, because of the omakase. He needed
It's
to
an
know
omakase,
what
or just
everyone-
like the order had
Yeah.
been shattered in the room." So he kicked out not only the people who were sitting at the sushi bar, but also the entire table of 6 people. He just cleared all of them out.
Wow.
And his wife comes around with her little credit card thing, and
Yeah.
just like scans everybody's credit cards and makes everybody pay.
Wow.
And then he says, "Don't come back."
Wow.
And then what she says when you get kicked out, she says like, "Oh, come back in a month and maybe it'll be okay."
Wow. I'd like a wife like that.
And
That's amazing.
it's amazing. So that's mine. So the mythology amongst like Hollywood people was that like this is like the apex of sushi. If Nozawa likes you, then you're in with Nozawa.
Right. But when did it close?
It closed I want to say 2015.
This a long time ago.
It closed a while ago. I remember I was there on one of the last days with Eric Wareheim, just
Okay.
coincidentally in line. So I remember, yeah, it was Eric and I and a few other people that kind of knew. We all kind of had gathered here at the end, and that day he snuck me, and I don't know, it felt like it was like a little like subterfuge. He kind of just like handed me a full on uni hand roll, just like loaded up with uni, and I'd never seen him serve that before, and I just felt really special. 'Cause
Wow.
yeah, and I did a little documentary about him as a test for Jiro,
Okay.
where he explains why does Nozawa kick people out of the restaurant? And so I asked him, and he goes, "I'm really tired. I'm just really tired. I'm up at 4 a.m., come to work, prepare the sushi. People come in, he's doing lunch,
Yeah.
they're on the phone. Oh, I want this phone. Get out." Like, the energy comes from the customer. If the customer's respectful, he's happy. The customer is like, he's just like, no, get out. Don't come back here. Very tired. What is your story about Nozawa? What happened when you first went to Nozawa, and what did that teach you about sushi?
Well, it taught me how much people respect this field of sushi chefs, because there was that reverence about him and that he could kick you out, and people respected that. It was almost like a kink or something. And I went with Bob Saget, who was the star of the show that I was writing for, and he kind of took me under his wing. And Bob made a big deal of like, don't embarrass me. Like this guy, like this is a big deal. I think it was like taking a new date to like, the Met Ball or something to him. It's like, I hope this person can be cool, can hang at Nozawa. And I was a pretty well-behaved guy, but who knows what's going to happen here. And sure enough, I got served something that had like little fish bones in it. And so unhappy, I picked them out of my teeth. No big deal. And Nozawa came over and said, "Is there a problem?" And
And
I didn't want to embarrass
to be
him.
clear, you didn't complain about the fish bones.
No, he just saw me going like
You
that.
you were scowling a little bit.
No, I maybe naturally as I gritted my teeth to remove pieces of bone. I wasn't making a scene. I was trying to spare him a scene in my mind. Like yeeks, this guy put some, didn't debone his fish properly, whatever. I don't know what kind of fish
He
it
was
was.
tired.
I don't know what it was.
Maybe you were supposed to eat the bone.
That's what it
I think you're
was.
just supposed to eat the
That's what
bones,
Bob told
although I have
me.
no idea what.
Bob told me, mortified, you're supposed to eat the bones.
Regardless if it's a mistake or not.
Sure. By the way, Bob maybe didn't know either, but he was certainly on Nozawa's side, not his new date's side, as it were. Date as in
Yeah, because we work hard.
lunch date, not
Honestly,
date
we work
date.
hard to get in with him. And
That's what I'm saying.
we don't want you to fuck it up.
Yeah, it's like, again, it was like bringing a first date um to a red carpet event, and they don't know the etiquette for Bob. So I definitely embarrassed Bob, but it was a passive aggressive from Nozawa. It wasn't I wasn't kicked out.
But he gave you it was
Is
like
there a problem?
Did he leave were you at the sushi bar?
Yeah.
So you're sitting at the sushi bar and he's like,
Is there a problem? Yeah.
and what did you say?
I said, there's just some bones in my fish.
And what did he say?
He just kind of looked at me and walked away. And then Bob said to me, you're supposed to eat it with the bones.
Never heard of that, eating
I don't know
sushi with
either.
bones.
As I say it, I think, in all my years since of going around the world eating at the finest sushi restaurants in all of the land, I don't recall another time I was served fish, even at Matsuhisa. I don't remember getting any fish with bones in it. So I might have been right.
Did you go back to Nozawa again after that?
Probably, but I don't remember getting that fish again.
I go back. I think that I wonder if people go back because they want to.
Only if someone else is paying. I don't even know what it costs.
We kind of like to be treated badly there, and then we want to win him over.
Like I said, it's like a kink for people.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not my kink, but
yeah,
the sushi
they like
was
to
good.
be submissive to the sushi chef.
Yeah.
What are your favorite sushi restaurants?
Well, I went to Asanebo with you. That was a
Yeah.
great time. I am partial to Shintaro, which is my local
Yep.
spot. I really like it there. A lot of I'm not drinking at the moment, but I mean today. But in general, I like a vodka with sushi, and very few LA sushi restaurants have a full bar. They tend to have sake and beer only.
Yeah, a
In
vodka
New
with
York, it's
sushi.
different. In other cities, it's different. But there's something expensive about the full bar license in LA.
Yeah,
So that's one of the rare places where you can get an actual drink with
in
your
Shintaro.
sushi. Yeah.
What other places? 'Cause you said all over the New York sushi spots.
I'm still looking. I get takeout from a place called 35 West, which I like. For like a celebration, I like Bond Street sushi, but I don't have a favorite in New York.
Do you find yourself going to sitting at a sushi bar often? Or does
Yeah,
it
I used to all the time. I would sit at the bar and especially at Shintara and just get dinner. Yeah.
did fame kind of rule that out for you?
No, I think Fame drove me there because it's just such a low key
Oh, great. So that one's low
place.
key.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are your favorite chains? Just rattle off the favorite chains in order.
Oh my God. So many from childhood on, I would say the formative chains for me, Ground Round, Friendlies, Dunkin' Donuts. Then we start IHOP, then expanding sort of more nationally. Chili's. I love Fridays for the vibe. Um, Waffle House, I love. Ruby Tuesdays, I really like. Taco Bell and McDonald's and fast food. Starbucks, I think counts. I mean, so many. I just think in general, any chain that has made it to, 100, 200 locations has done it for a reason.
It's the like the trial by fire of meeting the challenge
Generally,
of feeding the American people.
generally, there are restaurants that were like, hey, this is too good for just Pittsburgh. Everyone should have this.
The QSR versus a fast food. Like what is the line between, a fast food restaurant and then what is a quick service restaurant?
Is quick service where you order and then they bring it to you
Yeah,
at
that's
the
like the
counter?
Chili's category, I would
Oh
say.
no, that's a sit down restaurant. Chili's a sit down
That's not
restaurant.
QSR?
I don't know the term.
Okay.
But I think, in LA especially, and here I am saying you should always call it Los Angeles. I say LA a lot. But what I don't like is that in between where you order at the counter and then you get a number and they bring it to your table. I like one or the other. But I like a sit down restaurant. Sit down restaurant has like waiters and waitresses with like flair on them and stuff and name
Mm,
tags and a big glass of water and the chips and salsa go down.
a
Like
Fuddruckers.
that's my favorite type of chain for sure. And then the fast food chains are great in their own way, but no, I like the real restaurants if you can. It's more of an experience. There's more to it.
Okay, what other restaurants? Like talk about the LA food scene. Where are you eating? Where do you want to eat?
Um, Recently my favorites have been River in Venice, RVR. I think number one right now for me, and then
Oh wow.
Ati on the east side, which is just this really innovative Mexican cuisine. Really, really cool spot, Ati. And then I think my all-time classics are just the places that feel embedded in the fabric of Los Angeles. So Gelada, Meals by Gannett, Cantor's. I love Cantor's on Fairfax. Um, I would say, and then some of the newer stuff, like anything Roy Choi does, Anna Jack Thai in the Valley. There's just so many impressive, interesting, stylish, innovative. Did I say innovative twice?
No,
There's just so much.
impressive.
There's so much cool food in Los Angeles that feels like culture, art, expression, as well as good tasting.
Yeah. What about LA food scene versus New York food scene?
I like the LA one better. I definitely know it better, but I feel like it has a lot of personality and experimentation. Whereas the Manhattan food scene is kind of safe
Yep.
because the real estate's so expensive. And then in Brooklyn, it gets very good.
Hmm.
And then places like Queens are super traditional and amazing, but they're not necessarily experimenting because they've done it the same way for a long time.
Right.
So I think in Brooklyn, in my experience, that is a great food scene, and the others are not as sort of diverse and integrated as Los Angeles food.
And what are you into in Brooklyn?
Um, I like anything that Sean Feeney does. He does a bunch of stuff that's really cool. Lilia
Lilia.
and Feeney's Pizza. I like a lot of the pizza in New York. Upside Pizza, I like a lot.
That's something New York definitely has.
Yeah,
Because in order to make a successful pizza restaurant here, you have to say New York pizza in Los Angeles.
that's right. That's right.
New York pizza is legit.
Um, I feel like Birds of a
Lucali.
Feather
Do you
in
like
Brooklyn.
Lucali? Have you been there?
No.
Okay.
The Chinese restaurants in Brooklyn, Birds of a Feather, Winson, those Grand Imperial something, Kings County Imperial, something like that. My brother Lev takes me to all these Chinese restaurants in Brooklyn that I just think are um, so good. So I like, it's classic with the Chinese food and pizza are great in New York.
Yeah.
You can find very good of each in LA, but New York is really,
Well,
it's
there's
still
also
true.
well, what about San Gabriel Valley?
That to
I'm
me,
finding some really
I,
it has everything that we
I'm not,
need.
I'm not guacao is the term that my brother's wife uses for stuff that is very like of the ethnicity. Like we all have our guacao, which is,
Is that
I
like
think
your
it's a
limit?
made up term. No, no, no. It's just like what your parents and grandparents cook because she's Vietnamese, you
Oh, I
know?
see.
And so I think that if something is like super authentic, or like for me being Jewish, like chopped liver and pastrami, like that's a little guacao. I like a little more.
Oh, I got
Does
you.
that make
Yeah,
sense?
yeah, totally.
Yeah. So I do like a more Americanized, hybrid, creative, next generation. Like what I love at Anna Jack Tai is that Justin is the next generation of that.
Yeah,
And he's
totally.
influenced by other things. And Roy Choi was influenced by, Hispanic cooking, not just Korean cooking. And so I like that sort of next generation Americanized fusion.
Mhm.
I respect, but I'm less drawn to the like hardcore traditional stuff because it's a little,
Yeah, I'm not, like, seeking
I'm
out
not
the
that hardcore.
yeah, I'm not seeking out the chicken's
Yeah.
feet or the
Yeah.
shark
Yeah.
fin so much,
No.
but I respect it. Um, I had my bar mitzvah at a Chinese restaurant in New York called, Shun Li
I
West.
know Shanley. Jamie Patrikoff took me there. Gorgeous, gorgeous. What a
Yes.
great venue.
It was really cool, and they had the big white, dragons on the thing, and it was just like that felt really
What is
special.
your favorite food city?
I mean, Tokyo, because in Tokyo, there's literally the best of any kind of food at any level exists there, and, it's just
I
like the
don't know, man. I
density of
had
the
the pizza
restaurant.
there and everyone said it was the best in the world and I thought it was
Where'd you
average.
go?
I don't know, some Japanese
Which
place.
one? This the
The
famous
one
one?
everyone said, your mind's gonna be blown. I was like, I don't know. I think Motsu does a better job.
Shout out.
I think Tokyo gets too much credit.
Well,
I like it a lot.
that's you're talking about one pizza restaurant, and there's probably like
That's
1,000
true.
pizza restaurants in Tokyo.
That's true.
So, but I think between New York and Los Angeles, I'm going to go Los Angeles, because of those reasons that you said. There's a certain kind of authenticity. The sushi is also like half the price as it is in New York. Like good sushi in New York has gotten
My favorite
astronomically expensive.
cuisines are way more represented here um, than in New York, which is so much Italian food. Nothing against Italian food, but it is. I don't know when we decided as a society that cacio e pepe and branzino were just the pinnacle of food all the
It's
time.
so true.
It's sure I
The
like it,
trendiness in the
but
Italian
like,
restaurants.
why you ask anyone where you want to go? It's like Italian's always number one. I'm like, I don't know, sure, but like I like Korean food. I like Chinese food. I like Mexican food. I don't know. I think I like diner food. I don't know. I think the Italians, mark my words. No, I think the Italians, cuisine wise, have been riding too high for too long, and they do not deserve the. I'm not talking about them as a people. I'm talking about them as a legacy cuisine. I think they are upper echelon, but I don't think they should be as dominant as they are.
I think that Italian restaurants thrive because everybody can eat spaghetti, and you can also
This is
charge
like coming out against dogs on a podcast, by the way.
you can
This is
charge
like the most popular thing in the world. I
well,
don't know
yeah,
why I
especially
just
in
went
Los
on this
Angeles,
rant.
there's like a lot of Italian food. Also, the Italians, there's a Instagram that I follow called Italians Getting Mad About Food,
Oh,
and
great.
it's about them.
Oh my
Basically,
God. Don't let them see
people post
this.
pictures of spaghetti that they've made at home or
Yeah.
a cacio e pepe,
Yeah.
and then they just get flamed by Italians saying that their mother, it's like their mother died again when I looked at this. It's like
Yeah.
this a crazy, crazy
I like
stuff.
how seriously they take it, you
They're
know?
very passionate.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so do you want to apologize to the
I do
Italian
want to
people?
apologize to the Italian and Italian American communities. I do not mean to disparage your incredibly good and popular food. I really just want more diversity in admired upper echelon types of restaurants. I think like CPK is pretty good too. I don't know that we need to like Olive Garden everything, you know?
Um,
Not that these are the pinnacles necessarily, although I am partial to chain restaurants, but you
yeah,
know,
I got it.
isn't a Thai chicken pizza more fun? I guess pizza. I guess that is kind of Italian over there, isn't it? You know what?
CPK is Italian, correct?
CPK is
Well, no, because
Italian.
that's a Wolfgang Puck thing, but we can get into the history of that on
That's true.
on
He
another
is.
episode.
That's Italian. And then what else do I like? Some things are secretly Italian. John and Vinny's I love, and that's Italian, but it's just so like
I think you're just
flavorful.
looking for like, you don't want the branzino, a cacio e pepe, and a burrata salad. Like you're just kind of over all that.
Correct.
I think that there's a lot
And
more to
people
Italy.
think that's like
We
fancy
challenge. I
all the
think what we're
time.
doing now, actually, just to clean up after BJ's mistake there, we're going to clean up.
Thank you.
We want Italians to bring the homeland here. Don't Americanize it for us. Don't
Americanize
Panda
it.
Express our Italian food and make it like so. Oh wait, you
No,
have a
I
thing
think
about
do it
Panda
more.
Express.
I think do it more.
Make it more American.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
I don't like subtlety in food.
Got it.
Yeah.
Here's the question. What's the meaning of life?
I would say chain food and love,
Okay.
in that order.
What is the point of trying? Like, what are you looking for in the future? Like, what do you want?
I think God put us here for a reason, and the joy of life is finding out that reason.
And where are you on your journey? Like, how far?
About
along are
halfway
you?
through.
Halfway through?
Yeah.
And what do you love about yourself?
That I'm searching. I like that about myself.
You have like you're okay with not knowing the answer to things, or you have a curiosity.
I'd be more comfortable if I knew everything. Maybe someday we'll all know everything with, some AI implant in our head or something. But no, I like, people that think they know everything know less and less every year. People that think they don't know everything know more and more every year. So
Yeah.
on all levels, I like about myself that I always think I should know more, could know more. I like that about myself.
And I think that's like the thread that I love. And we're gonna, I'll finish it up here. But it's like, I think that is the thing about not knowing. You didn't have an answer for the meaning of life question, which is the correct answer.
That was a real question. Like you ask other guests that? I thought you were joking around with
anyway,
me.
I actually have to go, but thank you so much. This has actually been great.
I'll just hang out here.
Dude, thank you.
It's fun.